Chapter 1. The Crash Landing. The night sky over Outpost Theta was a sprawling canvas of stars, uninterrupted by city lights or pollution. Dr. Aaron Grant, a seasoned xenobiologist, leaned back in his office chair, savoring a rare moment of quiet. Outpost Theta, nestled on a desolate plain far from civilization, served as Earth's forefront research facility for extraterrestrial phenomena. Though it rarely saw much action, the team's work centered around long-range signals, meteor analysis, and cataloging anomalies in deep space. Aaron took a sip of his now-cold coffee, glancing at the holographic display hovering over his desk. It showed the latest scan data of the Theta 12 sector, a nearby cluster of debris from a centuries-old asteroid collision. Nothing unusual. But then, the alarm blared. Bright red lights pulsed through the lab, and Aaron's workstation was flooded with notifications. A loud, robotic voice echoed over the intercom. Warning: unidentified object entering atmosphere. Impact imminent. Coordinates marked. Aaron shot out of his chair, his heart pounding. Objects occasionally entered Earth's atmosphere, usually harmless meteors or pieces of derelict satellites, but the urgency in the AI's tone suggested otherwise. He grabbed his field jacket and bolted toward the observation deck, where a small team of engineers and scientists had already gathered. "What's going on?" Aaron demanded, skidding to a halt beside Dr. Clara Valdez, the lead astrophysicist. She pointed at the main screen, where a fiery streak cut across the sky. "We're tracking an object moving at controlled speeds. It's not free-falling, it's maneuvering." Aaron frowned. "A ship?" "Possibly," Clara replied, her voice tense. "It's not transmitting any known signals, and it's losing altitude fast. If it's a ship, it's in trouble." The object disappeared below the horizon, leaving behind a trail of smoke and fire. A moment later, the ground shook beneath their feet as a distant explosion lit up the plains. "Impact site is 5 kilometers east," one of the engineers announced. "Surface scan indicates no immediate radiation or toxic fallout." Aaron's mind raced. Controlled descent. No debris field. Could it be first contact? He grabbed his comm unit. "This is Dr. Grant. I'm heading to the crash site. Prepare the medbay and alert security." The crash site. The drive to the crash site was short but tense. Aaron piloted the facility's rugged terrain vehicle, its headlights slicing through the dark, smoke-filled air. The plains, usually quiet and lifeless, were now alive with the crackle of fire and the low hum of something unnatural. When he arrived, the scene took his breath away. The object, a sleek, organic-looking craft, lay half-buried in the ground, its surface shimmering like liquid metal. It pulsed faintly, as if alive, emitting a low, rhythmic vibration. Surrounding it were fragments of the ship, glowing faintly in the darkness. Aaron stepped out of the vehicle, his boots crunching on scorched earth. As he approached the craft, he spotted movement, a figure emerging from the wreckage. His breath caught. The figure was humanoid but distinctly alien. She was slender, with elongated limbs and silvery blue skin that glowed faintly in the darkness. Her large, luminous eyes darted around, filled with equal parts fear and determination. She clutched her side, where a faintly shimmering liquid, her blood seeped from a wound. Aaron raised his hands in a gesture of peace. "Hey, I'm here to help," he called out, his voice steady despite his racing heart. The alien turned sharply, her eyes narrowing. She muttered something in a language Aaron didn't recognize, her tone defensive. He reached for his translation device, a small handheld gadget designed to decipher common interstellar languages. "I don't understand you," he said, activating the device. "But I mean no harm." The device buzzed, attempting to translate her words. "Who are you?" It finally spat out, the translation crude but functional. Aaron gestured to himself. "Aaron," he said slowly. "Doctor. Here to help." The alien's gaze softened slightly, though she still looked wary. She gestured to her side, her voice tinged with pain. The translation device interpreted, "Hurt. Help." "I can do that," Aaron said, stepping closer. "Let's get you out of here." First contact. Back at the outpost, the alien girl sat on a medical cot in the brightly lit medbay. Aaron carefully cleaned and dressed her wound, his hands steady despite the surreal nature of the situation. The outpost's small crew watched from behind the glass observation window, their expressions ranging from awe to nervousness. "What's your name?" Aaron asked, activating the translation device. The alien tilted her head, as if processing the question. "Name? Kalira," she said haltingly, her voice soft and melodic. "Kalira," Aaron repeated, offering a reassuring smile. "Well, you're safe now." Kalira studied him, her luminous eyes filled with curiosity. "You, not fear." Aaron chuckled. "I've seen some strange things in my time, but you're definitely at the top of the list. Fear doesn't help anyone." Kalira tilted her head again, her expression unreadable. "Strange. Human." Aaron paused, glancing at the glowing patterns on her skin. "You're not from around here, are you?" Kalira shook her head. "Ship. Crash. Hunted." "Hunted?" Aaron's stomach tightened. "By who?" Before Kalira could answer, the facility's alarms blared again. The robotic voice echoed through the medbay. "Alert. Unknown hostile vessels approaching. ETA, 5 minutes." The threat. Aaron bolted to the observation deck, where Clara and the others were already scrambling to assess the situation. On the main screen, 3 dark, angular ships streaked toward the outpost, their designs starkly different from Kalira's organic craft. "Those aren't friendly," Clara said, her voice taut. "They're scanning the outpost, probably looking for her." Aaron turned to the security chief, Major Steele, who was already gearing up. "Can we hold them off?" Steele grimaced. "Doubtful. Our defenses weren't built for this kind of firepower." Kalira appeared in the doorway, her movements slow but purposeful. "Them," she said, pointing at the screen. "Hunt. Me." Aaron frowned. "Why? What do they want with you?" Kalira hesitated, then placed a hand over her chest. "Inside. Me." Aaron's brow furrowed. "Inside you? What are you talking about?" Kalira opened her mouth to explain, but the outpost shook violently as the hostile ships fired warning shots. The lights flickered, and the crew braced themselves as the facility's shields absorbed the impact. "We don't have time for this," Steele barked. "Grant, if she's got answers, we need them now." Kalira stepped forward, her expression resolute. "Help. Me. And I. Help you." Aaron met her gaze, his mind racing. "All right," he said, "but we'll need to get out of here alive first." Chapter 2. The Truth Beneath. The outpost trembled as another blast rattled its shields. Emergency lights cast the hallways in flickering red, creating an atmosphere of chaos and urgency. Dr. Aaron Grant led Kalira down the corridor, his mind racing. Behind them, Major Steele barked orders to the security team, mobilizing the scant defenses of Outpost Theta. "Why are they after you?" Aaron demanded, glancing at Kalira as they turned a corner. Her steps were still uneven, the wound on her side making her movements sluggish. Kalira hesitated, clutching the wall for support. "Inside. Me. They. Want it." Aaron frowned, slowing to help her steady herself. "What does that even mean? Is it some kind of implant?" Kalira shook her head, her luminous eyes meeting his. "Not. Machine. Life." Aaron stopped, the weight of her words hitting him. "You're saying you have a living organism inside you?" Kalira nodded. "It protects, but also, they fear it." Another explosion rocked the facility, forcing them to press against the wall as dust and debris fell from the ceiling. Steele appeared behind them, his face grim. "Grant, we've got about 2 minutes before those ships breach the shield. If you've got any brilliant ideas, now's the time." Aaron clenched his jaw, his thoughts scrambling for a solution. "We need to get her to safety. If what she's saying is true, we can't let her fall into their hands." Steele nodded. "Evac ship's ready, but we'll need to hold the line while you two get out of here." "I'm coming back for you," Aaron said, his voice resolute. Steele gave him a small smirk. "You better." The breach. The attackers wasted no time. As soon as the outpost shields failed, the alien ships fired concentrated blasts, blowing a hole in the eastern wall. A squad of hunters tall, insectoid aliens clad in black armor descended from the ships, their glowing eyes scanning the facility with predatory precision. Steele and his team met them with a barrage of plasma fire. The air filled with the deafening sound of gunfire and screeches as the hunters retaliated, their energy weapons tearing through walls and equipment. In the chaos, Aaron and Kalira slipped through a maintenance tunnel, heading toward the evac ship. The tunnel was dark and narrow, the air thick with dust and the acrid smell of burning circuits. "Why are they so desperate to get to you?" Aaron asked, his voice strained. Kalira glanced at him, her expression pained. "They fear what I am, fear what I carry." Aaron raised an eyebrow. "And what exactly are you?" Kalira hesitated, then placed a hand over her chest. "I am a host for something ancient." The revelation. They reached the evac ship, a small, sleek vessel designed for emergencies. Aaron guided Kalira inside, helping her into a seat before strapping himself into the pilot's chair. The controls lit up as he activated the ship's systems, the engines roaring to life. "Hold on," he said, gripping the controls. The ship lifted off just as another explosion rocked the facility. Through the viewport, Aaron could see Steele and his team still fighting, their figures barely visible amidst the smoke and fire. Come on," he muttered, maneuvering the ship through the wreckage. Kalira's breathing was labored, her hand clutching her side. "I must explain." Aaron spared her a glance. "Now's not exactly the best time." "It is," she insisted, her voice firm despite her condition. "If I do not survive, you must." "No." Aaron's grip tightened on the controls. "You're going to survive. I'm not letting you die." Kalira gave him a faint smile. "You are kind, but listen." She leaned back, her eyes closing briefly before opening again. "Inside me is Kaltha, an ancient entity from my world. It is symbiotic. It gives me life, strength, but also draws danger." Aaron frowned. "Symbiotic? Like a parasite?" "No," Kalira said sharply. "It does not take. It shares. But it is feared. Long ago, Kaltha destroyed many, not by choice but by instinct." Aaron felt a chill run down his spine. "And these hunters? They want it for themselves?" Kalira nodded. "To weaponize it. To control it." The ship shook as a blast from one of the alien ships struck the shields. Aaron cursed, pushing the engines to their limit. "And you thought coming to Earth would keep you safe?" "I hoped," Kalira admitted, her voice faltering. The pursuit. Two of the alien ships broke off from the outpost, pursuing the evac ship. Their weapons fired relentlessly, the blasts narrowly missing as Aaron weaved through the atmosphere. "Shields are at 30%, the ship's AI announced, its calm tone at odds with the chaos. "We're not going to make it at this rate," Aaron muttered. Kalira sat up, her glowing eyes fixed on the viewport. "Turn toward them." Aaron stared at her in disbelief. "What?" "Turn," she repeated. "Kaltha can protect us." "That's insane," Aaron snapped. "If we go toward them, we're dead." Kalira reached out, her hand resting on his. Her touch was surprisingly warm. "Trust me." Against his better judgment, Aaron adjusted the controls, angling the ship toward the pursuing vessels. The alien ships fired again, their weapons lighting up the sky. Kalira closed her eyes, her body glowing brighter. The air inside the ship grew warm, and Aaron felt a strange pressure in his chest, as though the atmosphere itself was shifting. Outside, a massive burst of energy erupted from Kalira, forming a protective barrier around the evac ship. The alien blasts dissipated harmlessly against it, the pursuing ships faltering as their systems shorted out. Aaron stared in awe. What the hell was that? Kalira opened her eyes, her glow dimming. "Kaltha protects." A moment of calm. The alien ships fell back, their engines sputtering as they retreated. Aaron guided the evac ship into low orbit, his heart still racing from the encounter. "You could have mentioned that earlier," he said, glancing at Kalira. She gave him a weak smile. "It is unpredictable. I did not know if it would work." Aaron shook his head, a faint chuckle escaping him. "You're full of surprises." Kalira's expression grew serious. "More will come. They will not stop." Aaron's smile faded. "Then we'll find a way to stop them first." Chapter 3. Sanctuary in the Shadows. The evac ship soared through the emptiness of space, the shimmering barrier around it fading into invisibility. Inside, the atmosphere was tense, thick with unspoken fears and unanswered questions. Dr. Aaron Grant glanced at Kalira, who leaned heavily against her seat, her bioluminescent skin dimming as exhaustion took over. "You okay?" Aaron asked, his hands steady on the controls. Kalira nodded faintly but didn't speak. Her breathing was slow. Each inhale labored as though she bore the weight of more than just physical pain. Aaron bit his lip, resisting the urge to press her for more details. She had just unleashed an energy pulse that had defied every law of physics. He knew whatever the Kaldi inside her was, it wasn't something to take lightly. The ship's AI broke the silence. Proximity alert. Nearest habitable location. Thalis 4, a small, uninhabited moon. Atmospheric conditions, survivable. Energy signatures, none detected. Aaron exhaled in relief. Good. Set a course for Thalis 4. We need time to regroup. The Moon of Secrets. Thalis 4 came into view, a barren, rocky moon with jagged cliffs and vast craters that reflected the faint light of its planet. The surface was desolate, its gray and red hues blending into a hauntingly beautiful landscape. Aaron landed the evac ship in the shadow of a towering cliff, the engines hissing as they powered down. He helped Kalira out of her seat, her steps unsteady but determined. "This place is..." Kalira began, her voice trailing off as she gazed at the desolation around them. "Empty," Aaron finished. "That's what we need right now." They moved cautiously toward the cliffside, where Aaron found a small cave carved into the rock. It was shallow but offered enough shelter to keep them hidden. He set up a portable scanner at the entrance, ensuring it would alert them to any incoming ships. As Kalira sat down, Aaron retrieved a medkit and began tending to her wound. The shimmering liquid that oozed from her side, her blood had a faint glow, and it seemed to be clotting faster than human blood. "This doesn't look as bad as I thought," Aaron said, trying to reassure her. "You're healing quickly." Kalira met his gaze, her luminous eyes filled with gratitude. "Kalva helps." Aaron nodded, but couldn't suppress the questions bubbling in his mind. "What is Kalva, really? I mean, you said it's alive, but what does it want?" Kalira hesitated, her gaze shifting to the ground. "It wants what I want. To live. To protect." Aaron raised an eyebrow. "But you said it destroyed your people. How does that make sense?" "It did not. Mean to," Kalira said softly. "Long ago, Kalva was awakened during a war. My people tried to control it, to use it as a weapon. But it fought back. It is not meant to be controlled." Aaron leaned back, his mind reeling. "So it's not just inside you, it's a part of you." "Yes," Kalira replied. "We are one." The hunters return. Hours passed in uneasy silence as Aaron and Kalira took turns keeping watch. The cave was cold, the air thin, but it was safe for now. Aaron used the time to analyze the scans he'd taken of Kaltha's energy signature, his portable lab humming softly. "What are you doing?" Kalira asked, her voice curious but weary. "Trying to understand what just happened back there," Aaron replied. "That pulse you released, it wasn't just energy. It destabilized the hunter systems, shut down their weapons, and even disrupted their shields. Whatever Kaldi is, it's extraordinary." Kalira tilted her head. "You see it as a tool?" Aaron shook his head. "No, I see it as a miracle." Kalira's expression softened, and for a moment, the tension between them seemed to dissipate. But the moment was shattered when the scanner at the cave entrance beeped urgently. "Incoming vessel detected," the AI announced. "Hostile configuration." Aaron's stomach dropped. "They found us." A desperate plan. The hunter's ship descended rapidly, its sleek black hull glinting under the faint moonlight. Aaron and Kalira watched from the cave entrance, their hearts pounding as the ship landed with a loud hiss, its landing ramp extending. "They will not stop," Kalira said, her voice steady. "They will take Kalva, no matter the cost." Aaron glanced at her, his mind racing. "Then we need to make sure they can't. If they're here for you, they'll stop at nothing." Kalira's expression turned resolute. "I can fight." "You're injured," Aaron said sharply. "You'll only get yourself killed." Kalira stepped closer, her bioluminescent skin glowing faintly. "Kaldi is strongest when it feels danger. If I surrender to it, we may survive." Aaron grabbed her arm. "Surrender? What does that mean? It means letting it take control, Kalira said. But it is dangerous. Even for me. The sound of footsteps echoed from the ramp, growing louder as the hunters approached. Erin's jaw tightened. We don't have another choice, do we? Kalira shook her head. No. Unleashing Kalth. The first hunter appeared at the mouth of the cave, its glowing eyes scanning the darkness. Erin raised his plasma rifle, firing a precise shot that struck the creature in the chest. It stumbled back, but more followed, their weapons blazing as they charged. Kalira now! Erin shouted, taking cover behind a boulder. Kalira closed her eyes, her body glowing brighter as she drew on Kalth's power. The air around her grew thick with energy, crackling like a storm. When she opened her eyes, they were no longer her own. They glowed with an intense, golden light. The hunters hesitated, their movements faltering as Kalth's energy filled the cave. Kalira stepped forward, raising her hands as tendrils of golden light erupted from her body. The tendrils struck the hunters with unerring precision, tearing through their armor and disarming them in seconds. Erin watched in awe and fear. Kalira's movements were no longer her own, her body shifting and twisting as if controlled by an unseen force. The hunters screamed as the energy consumed them, their forms disintegrating into ash. When the last hunter fell, the light around Kalira dimmed, and she collapsed to the ground. The aftermath. Erin rushed to her side, his heart pounding. Kalira, are you okay? Her breathing was shallow, her body trembling. It is hard to control, but we are safe. Erin helped her sit up, his mind racing with questions. That wasn't just a defense mechanism. Kalth, it's something else, isn't it? Kalira nodded weakly. It is. More than you can imagine. And it is why they will never stop hunting me. Erin's jaw tightened. Then we'll make sure they don't get the chance. Kalira looked at him, her expression softening. You are brave. For a human. Erin chuckled, despite the gravity of the situation. And you're a lot tougher than you look. Chapter 4. The Final Stand. The dim, cold light of Thalis IV's barren surface painted a stark backdrop for the silence that followed the battle. Dr. Erin Grant crouched beside Kalira, watching her regain her breath. Her bioluminescent glow dimmed, and her breathing slowed, but the tremble in her body hadn't stopped. Kalira, Erin said softly, his voice urgent but gentle. We need to move. They'll send reinforcements once they realize the first squad didn't report back. Kalira lifted her gaze, her eyes dimly glowing golden as remnants of Kalth's energy lingered. Kalth is awake. The hunters will not stop now. Erin nodded grimly, gripping his rifle tightly. Then we finish this. No more running. A plan takes shape. Erin guided Kalira back into the cave, setting her down on a rock ledge while he paced, his mind racing. The hunter's ship, now silent and smoldering, lay just beyond the cave's entrance. Its dark silhouette loomed like a predator waiting for its prey. We can't just sit here, Erin muttered, glancing at Kalira. If they're tracking you, they'll have more forces inbound soon. What do they want so badly that they're willing to throw everything at us? Kalira's voice was faint but resolute. They want Kalth, because they fear what it can do. If they cannot control it, they will destroy it. Erin turned, kneeling in front of her. And what about you? What happens to you if they extract Kalth? Kalira's expression faltered. I would not survive. Kalth is part of me. Without it, I am. Her voice trailed off, and Erin felt a pang of anger rise in his chest. Then we don't let that happen, he said firmly. But we need a way to fight back. Kalira tilted her head, her golden eyes narrowing in thought. The hunter's ship. Its core will contain energy conduits linked to their weapons. If I merge with them, Kalth can disrupt their network. Erin frowned. Merge with their ship? Won't that put you in danger? It is. The only way, Kalira said softly. But I will need time. Erin clenched his fists, his mind racing. He didn't like the idea of putting her at risk, but he knew she was right. If they could disable the hunter's tracking network, they might have a chance to escape. All right, he said finally. I'll hold them off while you do your thing. The hunters strike back. Erin set up defenses at the cave's entrance, using debris from the destroyed hunter squad to fashion makeshift barriers. He positioned himself behind a boulder, his rifle aimed at the open terrain in front of him. Kalira sat cross-legged near the cave's rear, her hands resting on the floor as she closed her eyes. The faint hum of Kaltha's energy filled the air, sending a shiver down Aaron's spine. "They are coming," Kalira said, her voice distant. "I can feel them." Aaron scanned the horizon, his stomach tightening as he spotted movement. A second hunter dropship descended from the sky, its sleek, black hull bristling with weaponry. As it landed, a new squad of hunters emerged, larger and more heavily armored than the first. "Great," Aaron muttered under his breath. "Why can't they ever send the rookies?" The hunters advanced in a tight formation, their glowing eyes fixed on the cave. Aaron fired the first shot, his plasma rifle's crack splitting the air. The bolt struck one of the hunters in the chest, staggering it but failing to bring it down. The hunters returned fire, their energy weapons carving into the rock around him. Aaron ducked behind cover, his heart pounding as he returned fire, aiming for weak points in their armor. "Kalira, how's it coming?" he shouted over the commotion. "Almost. Ready," Kalira replied, her voice strained. Kaltha's power unleashed. As the battle raged, Kalira's body began to glow brighter, the golden light spreading outward in tendrils of energy. Aaron could feel the air around him grow warmer, charged with an almost electric intensity. The hunters hesitated, their movements faltering as the tendrils of light extended toward them. One by one, the tendrils pierced their armor, rendering their weapons useless and forcing them to retreat. Aaron watched in awe as Kalira stood, her body radiating a golden aura. She stepped out of the cave, her movements slow but deliberate, as if guided by an unseen force. The hunters regrouped, their leader barking commands in a guttural language. They raised their weapons, aiming at Kalira, but before they could fire, a massive pulse of energy erupted from her, enveloping the battlefield. The pulse swept through the hunters, disintegrating their weapons and armor in an instant. The dropship system shorted out, its engines sputtering as it collapsed onto the ground. When the light faded, the battlefield was silent. The price of power. Aaron ran to Kalira as she collapsed to her knees, her glow dimming. He caught her before she hit the ground, his arms wrapping around her slender frame. "Kalira, talk to me," he said, his voice panicked. She opened her eyes slowly, her gaze meeting his. "It is done. They will not track us now." Aaron felt a wave of relief, but also a pang of fear. "You're burning yourself out doing this. How much more can you take?" Kalira gave him a faint smile. "Kaltha protects, but it also consumes." Aaron's jaw tightened. "Then we'll find a way to stop it. There has to be another way." A new path. As the sun rose over Thalis 4, Aaron and Kalira prepared to leave. The hunter's ship, now disabled, lay silent in the distance. Aaron had salvaged parts from the dropship to repair their evac ship, ensuring it could take them to safety. Kalira stood beside him, her bioluminescent skin glowing faintly in the morning light. "You are brave, human." Aaron chuckled. "Brave, stupid, it's a fine line." Kalira's expression softened. "You did not have to help me. Yet you did." Aaron looked at her, his voice steady. "No one deserves to be hunted for what they are. Not you. And as long as I'm here, they won't get you." Kalira tilted her head, her golden eyes shining. "Then I will trust you." The two boarded the evac ship, leaving the desolate moon behind as they set a course for uncharted space. Together, they carried the burden of Kaltha's power and the hope that they could find a way to harness it for good.